Only mode.
Welcome to the Wyoming Women's Business Center's 2020 webinar series. Today's presentation is Expressing Gratitude in Your Business, Ideas for Customer Appreciation and Employee Recognition. My name's Christine Langley. I'm with the Wyoming Women's Business Center and I'm going to be your speaker today. You'll notice the GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. I want to call attention to the questions panel. If you have any comments or questions during the webinar today, I'd like you to use those to communicate with me. Now, immediately following this presentation, we're going to launch a survey. I ask you to complete the survey because it provides us and our funding partners with valuable information. Now, everybody's muted today just to minimize our background noise. So once again, if you have any questions during the presentation, just type them into that questions panel and I'll get to them at the end. So we're going to get started just with some quick information about the Wyoming Women's Business Center, and then we'll dive into our topic today. We'll finish up with a Q&A. This is our new 30-minute format, and so we appreciate everybody joining us today on what might be your lunch break. All right, so this webinar series is brought to you by our microfinance department, and I want to call up special attention to our micro loan program. We can provide loans for those unable to get loans through traditional means for up to $50,000. And so if you'd like more information on this program, you can contact our office. All right, guys, let's dig right in to our program today. Here's some information on the microloan program that I just mentioned. All right, so most of my clients, they don't really need to be reminded necessarily of the importance of keeping their customers happy. But with the constant demand to deliver new prospects and generate new leads, sometimes businesses can fail to dedicate the proper amount of focus, time, and effort to their existing customer base. And so as a business grows, they tend to focus on scaling and processes and acquisitions. And in turn, they become more impersonal and a bit colder towards their customers. And as a result, the customers they have end up suffering because they just start being another number on a spreadsheet. And you know what happens to customers when they don't feel appreciated? They leave. In fact, 68% of customers leave because they believe that the business doesn't care about them. 14% leave because they're dissatisfied with the product. Only 9% exit because they're lured away by a competitor, and only 5% are influenced by their friends. About 3% leave because essentially they move or they leave the area. So this is why you can see customer retention is so important, and that typically comes down to your customer appreciation strategy. So today I want to cover 5 different categories of customer appreciation, and then I'm going to give you some ideas so that you really can show your love to your customers. So grab a pen and a paper handy so that you can jot down the ideas that really resonate with you. And we're going to start with customers today, and then I'm going to move on to employees. All right, everybody, first up is honoring your customers. So this should be obvious. Some of these, sending a handwritten note is always a good idea. Making a donation in their honor to a charity. Celebrating some kind of a milestone. Featuring your customers on social media or featuring your customers in store in some way. Meeting with customers off-site, making them feel special. A new thing that we're seeing a lot now is creating thank you videos that then get shared on social media. All right, next up is customer discounts. So there's all kinds of creative ways to offer customer discounts. You can provide an upgrade. You can offer some kind of unexpected discount, like an unexpected discount at the register when they're checking out. It's just kind of a random act of kindness, right? You can offer discounts for referrals. You can do buy one, get one offers. Lots of different types of discount options, but that's definitely an additional category. Okay, customer events. So in the age of COVID-19, I realize that some of these events take on new meaning and you'll have to get creative. There's all kinds of ways to do virtual events that I'm sure everybody is seeing different businesses take advantage of. But here's a list of ideas: hosting a picnic or a barbecue, some kind of after hours sale, creating like a VIP treatment option for some of your best customers, and then releasing pre-sale notifications to special customers or a special list. And then next up is reward programs. Now, reward programs, there are just endless forms of reward programs out there. And so I've tried to break them down into 4 different types. So loyalty point programs let customers accumulate points that they can redeem for rewards or free products and services. They're so easy to set up that 73% of loyalty programs out there are points-based. And that makes this the most popular type of loyalty program by far. Another type of loyalty program is a tiered loyalty program. This is a type of membership program where customers enjoy different loyalty program benefits depending on their rank. So each rank or tier is defined by a set variety of rewards, services, or benefits, which increases in value as customers progress. All right, next up, advocate loyalty program. This is where customers can earn rewards for actions kind of beyond just purchases, such as promoting your brand on social media, or referring friends, or writing referrals, or sharing pictures. You can come up with all kinds of ideas. Just use your creativity, in regards to an advocate loyalty program. And then last but not least, for those of you that are unaware of the term gamification, this is basically to gamify something. It's to take that aspect of games that makes them really engaging and addictive and apply it to a typically ordinary process. So making a loyalty program engaging and addictive is really good news for any brand. And what we know is that more than 80% of millennials and nearly 2/3 of baby boomers have reported an interest in getting rewards, not just for purchases, but also for some type of engagement with the brand. And so companies can use gamification marketing to really drive engagement, and that's key to loyalty. So nearly 1/3 of all participants and 40% of millennials say there should be games with loyalty programs. And one advantage of using games to drive loyalty is that gamers are also more likely to be active on social media. So this means they can spread the word of their engagement with other people. And then the big takeaway here, games are fun and they're safe and they're kind of somewhat silly competitive experiences, and people really like that. All right, last but not least, customer gifts and experiences. So giveaways are really standard for customer appreciation, and they can come in all different forms. And so I always remind my clients to budget for customer gifts and experiences. This should be really a regular line item in your expense column, and you should plan your customer appreciation strategy and costs just like your marketing strategy. After all, retaining and increasing sales from your existing customers is really your biggest sales opportunity. So I want to just run a quick poll here and get a sense of everybody's thoughts on your budget. So the question is, I have an allocated expense line budget for customer appreciation / retention. True or false? Just going to give you a couple seconds to answer this. And if some of you are saying, I haven't even done my budget yet for 2021, that's a separate webinar, but you should definitely be thinking about it. All right. Excellent. We're going to close that poll and let's take a look. Looks like we've got about 35% that actually allocate a budget for this and 65% don't. So you that were in the false category, you know what your assignment is going to be for 2021. Okay, guys, so let's transition here to employee retention now that we've covered a lot of those customer appreciation ideas. So what do we know? We know that employees whose managers consistently acknowledge them for good work are 5 times more likely to stay at the company. 79% of people who quit their jobs cite lack of appreciation, as their specific reason for leaving. And 24% of employees who felt they had not received recognition from their direct supervisor in the past 2 weeks had recently interviewed for another position, compared to just 13% who had received recognition. So there's definitely something that you can do in order to retain your employees. So I've broken this category down into 5 areas as well. And so a study by CareerBuilder found that 50% of employees would stay if they were tangibly recognized. And then another study revealed that 40% of employees who do not feel meaningfully recognized will not go above their formal job responsibilities to get the job done. So when it comes to employee, appreciation, I think there's 5 different types of recognition. I've listed them here. And then I'm going to group some ideas under each one of these areas. After all, we love our employees, and there's plenty of ways that we can show it. So let's start with the easiest, employee recognition. Okay, this means you have to take the opportunity when it arises, and you need to be consistent about saying thank you and giving recognition. So the first tip when it comes to employee recognition is really to be specific. So giving a general thank you for people's contributions or hard work is really nice, but it often falls flat, especially if it's not targeted and specific to an action. So have you ever had a manager, that every time you have a staff meeting, they either open or close with, "You guys are all doing really great work, and I appreciate everybody here. Thank you so much for your contributions to our company." They have some kind of standard line that they give, right? It kind of falls flat because it's not personalized, it's not specific. So employees want to feel heard, they want to feel seen. So the more that you can notice and recognize something specific, the more special they're going to feel. And once you have something specific to recognize, you can push out those recognitions in a variety of ways, right? You can handwrite a simple note, you can recognize them publicly on social media, you can do a specific shout out at a team meeting, you could write a LinkedIn recommendation for them. You can also get other team members to get involved and develop a way for peers to actually recognize each other. So I want you to get creative and don't be afraid to survey your employees on what they would like. It never hurts to ask people what they want. All right, next up is employee awards. Now, we've all seen the Employee of the Month, award, and there's lots of variations on this concept. You can create a trophy or a touchstone for certain accomplishments. This is like a physical item that represents a win or a success. I've seen everything from a trophy to a special hat to a cowbell, even a rubber chicken that was like an inside joke. So it's less about the item, it's more about what the item means and represents. And so I encourage you to have fun with it if this is a road you go down. Charts, right? They work really great with small children, and believe it or not, they work great with adults. We all like stars next to our name. So tracking the wins publicly for everybody to see is always helpful. And you can also create awards for employees that donate their time or money to a charity. Recognizing employees for engaging with community efforts not only boosts your reputation with employees, but it also boosts your reputation in the community. So it really ends up being a win-win. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's been a long week. All right, guys, employee gifts. So never underestimate the value of presence. Gifts, especially gifts that are personalized, can have a lasting impact. And so if an employee feels like you put some thought into your gift giving, just like with your family, it's more meaningful and special. So again, remember, employee retention should be a line item in your expense budget. You really shouldn't stress about spending money on staff gifts. It's part of your retention strategy, and retaining employees is one of the best cost-saving strategies you can have in your business. All right, employee experiences can be an excellent team building opportunity that also aids with retention. And so here on this list, I've got buy lunch from afar, give them a long weekend, start a book club, plan happy hours or game nights. Obviously, this can be done virtually. Creating a wellness program, making sure that you're celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, planning a progressive dinner. That could be fun to do virtually, figuring that out. So all of these are great ideas to engage those employees in experiences beyond just what their workload is. So in January 2020, median employee turnover for men was 4.3 years. And for women, it was 3.9 years. So we're right at about 4 years as the average tenure. And so a common complaint with employees is not feeling challenged or not feeling like they were growing or gaining new skills. And so I often advise people in their career to really ask themselves if they are still learning things in their current job. And if the answer is yes, that's great, get busy learning. If the answer is no, then it may be time to move on and look for a new opportunity. So, a great way to have your employees feel challenged and continuing their own growth is to invest in their professional development. And this can be anything from an industry training to just general computer training, right? Be sure to ask your employees for what their interests and their needs are and find something that gives both them and your business value. You get a double benefit, a more skilled employee, and the employee feels that you're invested in their development and growth. You could spring for a conference or work equipment like a new chair or a stand-up desk. You want to be sure to include them in any networking opportunities and look to introduce them to important contacts that could potentially advance their career. Some businesses go as far as hiring career coaches to work with employees confidentially. Lots of happy employees, are productive employees. And so making an investment in them can really make a lot of sense. So again, I just want to run another quick poll. And I want to know if you know what is the average tenure of employees in your business. Is it under 2 years? Is it 3 to 4 years, 4 to 5 years? Or is your average tenure over 5 years? Now, lots of people on this call might be startups. You might say, hey, I haven't even been in business 2 years, right? I haven't hired my first employee necessarily yet. That's okay. Just want to get a sense from everybody kind of where they're at. I'll give you a couple more seconds. Looks like we have a nice variety. All right, let's take a look. About 25% are under 2 years, 33% 3 to 4 years, not very many in the 4 to 5 year credit, and then a lot of people in the 5+ years. That's exciting. Well, good job. You must be showing some appreciation for employees, and you must have some really great benefits beyond just the job scope. So that is definitely exciting. All right, and then one more poll before I open it up for questions. We talked about rewards. And so I want to revert back to customers really quick and just want to know if you have a reward program in place for your customers. Just a real simple yes or no here. Give you a couple more seconds to answer. And really any of the reward programs, right? If it's just point-based or if it's a gamification strategy. All right, let's take a look. 22% do, 78% don't. This is why you're on the webinar today, right? Okay, good job. Well, hopefully we have shared some ideas with you here today, and Google is always a great resource. And when it comes to employee rewards, customer rewards, I always encourage people to look at other businesses. I like my clients to have a business crush, which means, is there a business out there that you would like to look like in the future, right? And you sort of have a crush on them. And so, I always say copying or emulating someone else is the highest form of compliment. And so I encourage you to look at your business crush and see what they're doing versus what you're doing, and ask yourself if any of those things are things you can add to your business in 2020. All right, guys, I am opening it up for questions, and it looks like some people are interested in seeing some of the points that I covered previously. So I'm just going to go back through a couple of these slides, but do want to remind everybody that in addition to this live webinar today, we always record every webinar we give, and it is available on our YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com and type in Wyoming Women's Business Center, you will find our channel, and every webinar we've given for the last 3 years is listed there, and they are categorized. All right, so I'm going to go back to the customer ones really quick. And you'll see customer gifts, swag giveaways, free car wash, host a drawing, holiday gifts, offering food or drink. The different types of reward programs, and then customer events. All right, we've got another question here. I am in my first year of business and would like to send a handwritten note of appreciation to customers. Do you recommend these notes at a holiday time, i.e. end of the year, or wait until the holidays are over so they don't get lost in holiday cards? I actually recommend that you do, you create a schedule for yourself. I like to see my clients do a quarterly schedule so that it's consistent, right? And so I don't care what month your quarter starts, but you want to be issuing these kinds of appreciations, especially if they're handwritten notes, like every 90 days, so that you're top of mind in that customer's mind. Now, if you own a business that is like a service business, let's say you have a carpet cleaning company and you recommend that everybody cleans their carpets once every 6 months, then maybe instead of quarterly, maybe you're reaching out to them every 6 months with a reminder for cleaning, but then on those off quarters, you're just saying thank you for your last service, right? Or something right after you gave them a service. But as far as worrying about timelines of if I'm in the midst of holiday season or right after, I don't think that cards get mixed up. People appreciate thank yous anytime, you send them. And so if it's top of mind and it makes sense to send them the card now, send them the card now. It's totally fine. You may actually even get more eyeballs on it because people are more focused on opening up their mail during holiday time, and they may notice it more. Okay, customer discounts, just again, going over another screen in case you didn't have time to write down some of those notes. All right, guys. Another question from, let's see, do you have any examples of how a B2B business creates reward programs to make these clients feel rewarded or valued? And so for those of you out there that maybe don't know the lingo, B2B stands for business to business. So lots of companies are in this situation where they are B2B, right? So banking institutions, right? They work with other businesses as well as retail customers, but the reward programs for B2B might look a little bit different. And so, do I have any examples? Let's see. If you were, let's say you were a software company and you're trying to reward some businesses that utilize your software. If there was a rewards program, it might be around the number of users that have subscribed to your software. So for example, if a business can have a certain number of users based on the number of employees, you offer some kind of a reward around implementation of that software. So for example, you want more engagement with people that are using the software at a particular client's office. So maybe 2 people have registered with usernames and passwords, and you'd like all 10 employees to register with usernames and passwords. So you could create some kind of a reward system where if the employees will implement the software at a certain level, they will get graduating gifts right? So if you log into the software and utilize it for 20 minutes every single day, then you get X number of points, and X number of points equals X reward at the end of the month. So there's all kinds of reward systems or games that you can do around usage and implementation. So that would be one idea for a B2B. But you always want to think about what your business goals are and how those business goals can attach to a reward or loyalty program for your customers. Okay, hope that helps, guys. Another one is we sell high-end product. We like to do discounts, but it can seem trivial to ask small percentages, but we can't afford bigger ones. Any ideas? I think when it comes to selling high-end or luxury products, you're better off doing add-on service features or add-on products to the luxury item instead of discounting the luxury item. So is there any kind of additional service offering that you can give, or some kind of warranty that you can give? Think of an add-on instead of a discount, because I agree with you, it can kind of fall flat. Okay, examples. Somebody else is asking examples of gamification awards. So the easiest thing to do here is just go on Google and look up gamification reward loyalty programs. There's all kinds of big businesses that have kind of incorporated games. Off the top of my head, right, Starbucks, McDonald's, they do all kinds of a mixture of point loyalty programs with a game, right? So you have to collect X number of points in order to then receive something. And they have a tracking mechanism where you can do this. There's other people that are creating games kind of within their industry or within their business. Anything like, oh, can you find the 5 red sweaters that are hidden, in this store, in different sections or areas. And if you can find all 5 and take pictures and share on social media, then you're going to receive a buy one, get one of, these slippers or whatever. So you can create all kinds of fun engagement type games with your customers in order to give rewards. Another question, do you have any ideas on rewarding customers when your company is medical and you follow such strict HIPAA requirements? Great question. So when you have privacy concerns, you really only have 2 directions that you can go. First, you can ask permission from customers if you can share their story or share information. We run into this at the Wyoming Women's Business Center because all the work that we do with individual clients is confidential. And so we have a special form that people fill out to release us from confidentiality so that we can share their story, or share their testimonial of their experience working with us. The other direction that you have to go is really honoring customers individually. And so this list that I have up on the screen, right here, is certainly the types of things that you can do, with those individual customers. Don't discount the handwritten note, especially in the medical field. So rarely do you get a follow-up from medical providers after, you've gone to see them. Any kind of follow-up you get can really go a long way because you're distinguishing yourself from the competition. All right, and last but not least, how would you recommend formatting a B2B referral program? Like refer a new client to us and we will give you a discount on your next invoice. Any ideas? Yeah, formatting really comes down to the industry, that you're in. But again, we do this for a living. So if you want to reach out to us directly at the Wyoming Women's Business Center, we're happy to do a one-on-one coaching call with you and talk about your specific business and figure out a way to set up a referral program that makes sense for you. And so feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to advance really quick here and just give you our contact information. So this is me, guys, down on the bottom right, my direct email and my phone number. If you want to reach out to me directly, happy to work with you. These are some other business counselors in our office as well, and information for our microfinance department. We want to thank our funding partners. We're here in large part due to the Small Business Administration and also the Wyoming Business Council. They're our primary funding agencies, and so we appreciate them for their support. All right, guys, when we close out today, a survey is going to pop up on your screen. I thank you for attending our new format here of 30 minutes. We're at 12:30 right on the nose. And so I will say goodbye for today and hope that you can stick around for a few seconds and fill out that survey. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.